Welcome to Let's Weave Beads. In today's video we are going to go over some cleanup tips. I will be using my practice patterns that I have up for you, as well as the graph that I put up. Today's practice pattern we will be using is the one with the circles. And the graph, as I said, is available on Pinterest. Now I took the graph and put it in Microsoft Paint. Now if you do this, I recommend that when you save it, you use the save as BIMP, or however you say that, because that way you can then continue to make changes to it. If you save it in one of the other formats, it'll make continuing to work with it more difficult. So this is the format you want to save it in if you use Microsoft Paint. Now using the fill tool, I made my conversion. This is how it came out. I don't know if you can see all of it. Now when working or cleaning up a piece, what you want to do is think about what is most important. For example, like when I showed you my seahorse before, I knew that all I would need to do was to make sure that the outline around the seahorse where it met the water was cleaned up. I didn't need to do anything with the rest of the design. So that was a pretty simple cleanup for the seahorse. Recently I did another pattern, Monarch. This one was a little more difficult because the cleanup, or the important part, was all of the black. I needed to make sure that the outline was clean and neat looking, and then also in the center to make sure all these color patches were separated by black and looked good. So this one was a little bit more difficult than the seahorse. And as we go through the practice patterns I have put up for you, you'll see that each one has slightly different difficulties to them. Now for this one, the important thing was for the circles to look like circles. So what I'm going to show you here is I took the pencil tool in Microsoft Paint, put it on the thickest line setting, and then I put little dots where I thought I would make changes. For example, this circle here I felt was the main circle of the piece, so I wanted to make it, see here where the line goes down, it's 2, so it juts out a bit. So to clean that up, I just added 1. I halved this 2 to 1 being the circle and 1 being the, I think this might be background or another circle, but so that is how I did this, and I did 1 on this side, and then same thing down here. It's a little harder to see in the black, but I did 1 here and 1 here. And the end result was this, a bit more circle shape. Now the next one I went to was here, because when I did it, it came out more square looking. Because here it just mostly has the curve on the top, but when converted it just looks more square. So what I decided to do was to bring it out further slowly. First do a half, and then do a 2 and a 2, and that gives it more of the circle on the side. And this is how it came out. So that worked out nicely. And then the other areas, I just looked at them. The black I considered background, so I didn't do much with it. But up here, this here was a side one, so I just did the top and the bottom of the two to give it a little bit more of a curve. And this is how it came out. Very nice. And then this one, let's see, no, this pink one I did not do anything because it looked pretty good already. So then this one here, I wanted it to be a little more curved here, so I just did the top and bottom of this line here where they were all doubled, and that gave it a little bit more of a curve there. And then the final was this one. This I felt jutted out too far, so I just took off the one, and that's how that turned out. So as you can see, for this piece, the primary thing is rounding off the pieces. This one here took a little bit more because, like I said, when it converted, it just looked more square, so you just add a little bit more to give it that circle look. So that is some tips for the round pattern, and these tips of course can be used in other patterns that have more rounded designs. So that is some tips for more curved designs to make up for the fact that the pattern doubles up the lines on the side going up and down. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments, and I will be glad to help you out in any way that I can. Happy beading!